Okay, so I think we are live. So, yeah, we're definitely live because all of my previous comments have just loaded up. So we're definitely live. So I want to welcome everybody to video 2 of today. So as I shared in the last video, if you actually caught the last video, and if you didn't, hop on over and check out the last video, is that the intention for this week was to be able to meet up with a few of our speakers for the event, for the women's conference that's coming up March 6th to the 8th. Here in Haileybury, and but unfortunately there was some time delays that we had to like reschedule a couple of the videos. So it just so happens that everybody's available today, and so we're doing 3 lives pretty much back to back. So this is video 2 of our Inspiring Women Conference, and I'm sure that we'll have more over the next little bit, but this is so I want to introduce to you Amélie Chaput, who is did I say that right?
Yep.
Chaput?
Yeah.
So Amélie is going to is joining us as one of our speakers this year, and I am super excited and super pumped that she's coming as well. And so I've been following Amélie for some time, and apparently she's been following me for some time, and we actually had the privilege of being able to work together just about a month ago. So like super excited we are going to get together again, and I'm sure that we're going to get together many times, but very soon again with the conference. So Amélie, well, how about we start with you sharing a little bit about who you are?
Sure, of course. So thank you very much for the beautiful introduction, really. So as you know, I'm Amélie, and I've been on this journey of gathering women for the past 6 years in my community. So I hold these monthly gatherings where I bring in women of all different backgrounds, and we come together and we celebrate, we share, we laugh, we cry, we explore our intuition, and we really have a lot of fun. And so part of my journey has led me to such amazing teachers and mentors that have allowed me the tools and the confidence to be able to share my wisdom and share my gifts. So I'm really looking forward to being speaking at the Women's Inspiring Women Conference. So, and something that has resonated with me since childhood has been my smile. And as a matter of fact, when I was in grade 8, I was awarded with the person or the student that smiled the most. And for me, smiling has been something that gets me out of my darkness, and that's something that I want to share with others. And I also want to touch base on. I hear this often where people are like, "Oh, you can't always smile and always feel good." There are days when I don't feel good, but I still smile because it gives me that moment of being present, and it allows me to experience and feel all of my emotions that I'm feeling. And then it kind of helps me celebrate that I have these feelings too, and that it's okay to have them. And it just gives me that, like I said, that moment of being present and celebrating my feelings.
Nice.
So that's who I am a little bit.
And that actually leads into what it is that she's actually talking about. That is her topic for the women's conference. And so one of the things just to kind of fit in with that is that I had never really done this with beforehand, is that I actually had a client who was in one of our circles, and we had somebody that was brand new to meditating and didn't know anything about meditating and wasn't sure whether or not she was actually going to be able to meditate. And one of my clients that were in the circle, one of the women in the circle, actually shared that even during meditation, it just brings about a different energy is if you actually just add a smile to your meditation.
For sure.
And it was like, I never even thought about that, because like my normal face is not smiling. So like if I'm in the middle of concentrating and doing something, and it's not because I don't want to smile, it's just that my go-to, or the way that like my resting face is, that it's not a smile. And so I have to I have to purposely put a smile on my face. I have to purposely, unless of course I'm smiling for some reason, but like if I'm in the middle of a task, and so like you have people that stick their tongue out when they're in the middle of a task. Well, my resting face just goes back into like full mode concentration. And so now, and since then, is that's one of the things is that I add that into my meditation. And when I am in the middle of being busy, if I can actually get my brain to kind of check in, then that's one of the things that I do is that I actually just start smiling. And I've had people kind of going like, "Oh, what's funny?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just smiling." Right? Because it's like, and because they know me, right? So they're like, "Okay, why are you smiling? Like, what are you doing? We're actually just doing work, right?" So
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, I feel like I can resonate that with a lot, except for me, it's the opposite. My face is always smiling. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm always smiling. And like I said, I could be having um, horrible experience or horrible day or what you want to call it, but I'm still smiling because like you mentioned, like with your meditation, it's that being present and being aware. And that for me, being smiling, it helps me be aware and bring awareness to my day. And it's just like pausing for a moment and be like, oh, I'm not smiling right now. And then I'm smiling. So yeah, I think I lost you. I can't see you anymore.
for whatever reason, my camera just kicked out.
Yeah, I was just about to say, there you are.
So you are still on, and people can still hear you. So if I happen to disappear for
Okay.
whatever reason, just keep going and just keep talking because they can still hear you.
Perfect.
So,
But yes.
so our friend Megan, when I had actually done an interview with, one of the things that had actually happened to her when I was actually doing the interview is that I completely lost the camera. It was gone. I got just completely disconnected, but she continued to stay live because we were doing using a system like Be Live. And so it was, so she's still on and she's like, I'm not sure whether or not anybody else can hear me, but like, I'm just going to kind of wait around and see if Rolly shows up. So,
That's
so
funny.
just so you know.
Okay, so I'll go next time.
You will still be live, just saying.
Perfect.
So, and that's one of the things that I really love about the fact that the women that actually are coming together is that we are resilient and we can actually we find different ways of being able to just keep going despite of whatever it is that's going on, right? So,
For sure.
and that's exactly what you did. Is like, well, I'm kind of lost Rolly, but it's that. But it's just really important for us to be able to do that and know that that we have that resilience. And the women's conference is about all these women that are coming together and they're sharing and they're and but the wisdom isn't only just coming from the women from the conference. And you can probably speak to that as well, Emily, from hosting women gatherings, right? So your women's circle,
Absolutely.
your women's gatherings is like, yes, we facilitated, and yes, we're doing that part of things because that's our role. But at the same time, every time that I have a gathering, every time that I have a circle, every time that I have anything that, whether I'm hosting it or not, I learn something. I get something
Absolutely.
just as much from the people who are participating. So as a guest,
for sure.
you
Definitely.
actually get to that as
Definitely.
well. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So I definitely feel that each woman that attend a gathering or like you said, anything that you hold or you even attend to brings us a form of medicine. We each have our own gift. We each hold our own medicine that we can offer to each other. So I'm really looking forward to see how all of the women that are going to come together for this conference, because each and every one of you are that will be attending as a guest, whether you're a vendor, whether you're a speaker, you're going to give something and you're going to take something back with you, because each woman that will be attending is going to offer something, and you may not know what it is right away, but then you're going to think back, oh yes, I remember this person was sharing this story, and I now resonate with this, and now I can have a little bit more clarity. And I love to see how the universe like magically manifests the right people that you need in the space. So that's my experience with holding space or being part of a space, is that each person that are there with you, that attend with you, are meant for you, meant for your healing, are meant for your transformation, for your growth. And sometimes we just need that connection. So it could be someone who you just simply need to connect with, or it could be like, it could be a future support system. I've had women that have come to some of my first gatherings who I am now like amazing friends with, that we do everything together. We share things together. And then each time that a new sister comes in our circle, in our gatherings, it just builds on and adds on to that feeling of connecting and feeling like belonging to something or someone. So yeah, that's my experience with holding and gathering all of these women together.
And we really do get lots from the other people. And so the one of the things that um, we have is that regardless of what our experiences are in life, our experiences bring something to the table. And so when somebody says something that actually resonates with us, it gives us that aha. And so then it kind of brings, it just brings something different. It really does bring something different to what it is that our experiences are. And, but also the biggest part of it is that we're not alone. And so
Exactly.
it's like, so if we have had that experience, whether we've overcome it or we're still in it, is that it allows us to be able to know that we're not alone, and that our experience is that we are connected from a bigger source, and that we are, and that as women, is that we have something to be able to gather with. And today is the full moon, but it's also the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse has, I'm not sure if it's exact, I can't remember. I think it's already started, the lunar eclipse. But if it hasn't started, then it's like 12:41. It was either 12:21 or 12:41 that it was actually starting, until sometime around 4 Eastern time. And so but like these energetic beings of things that are actually happening. So with the moon, we celebrate the moon, and I believe Emily does as well. And so coming together during this time as part of women's gathering and being able to get that support. So way back before normal civilization happened, is that women would gather on a regular basis monthly. And so they would leave their tribe, they would leave their community, they would leave their wherever it is that they were supposed to be in terms of that, and leave the men and the children. But the women would actually gather together to be able to support each other through their time, through that moon energy, through that moon time. And so I'm seeing, like, it is amazing over the last 2 years. So when I first started sharing about the moon energy and things that I would actually do in the moon gatherings and stuff, it was still pretty quiet and pretty hush hush. And so when I first started coming out of the closet and sharing about what it is that we do and that kind of thing, is that it was still pretty quiet on the internet. It was still pretty quiet about some of the things that were actually going on. And that's only a couple of years ago. Like, so that's 2 or 3 years ago. But like now I'm seeing people post all the time about the moon stuff, and I'm seeing people post all the things. And so today is that day. So today is about being able to release the energy, being able to get rid of the things that no longer serve us during this time, because this is when we're actually shedding away all that stuff that we don't need to hang on to. And being able to have women like Emily and like Sherry, who was on earlier, and Michelle, who's on this afternoon, afternoon, is that by having these women in our circle, and that's exactly what it is, because I don't say that they're in our corner, because we are actually in a circle even for the event,
For
is that
sure.
we gather in a circle. Everything that I do is in a circle, including this conference. And because there's not one person that is more important than the other. And so even though we actually have a presenter, and so they're going to be at the presenting station or whatever it is that you want to call it, we are still gathered in a circle because
Beautiful.
we are together. We are in unison. And so there's no corners. There's no one person behind and no one person forward. And one of the things that even during the conference is, if I see kind of people starting to kind of slink back, just trying to make space, it's like, well, then let's make space in a wider range as opposed to stepping back outside of the circle, because it's really important for us to be able to remain within the
Absolutely.
circle.
For
And
sure.
so I am excited that the college, when they actually help us get set up, is that they honor that, and they honor that understanding of making sure that we actually have that circular space. And when we set it up, they actually give us that so that we can actually hold space together in a circle where we actually get to energetically connect and bind with each other. So,
so beautiful.
Really excited. And so Emily, what made you decide that you wanted to be part of this this conference? So this is called Living with Intention. So what called you to this particular conference?
One of my dreams, I think from the beginning of discovering this journey, is I've always saw myself, and I knew that I would be speaking in front of public. And I've just been very passionate about sharing this tool that really helped me. And so and what also I think really inspired me is the fact that it's the International Women's Weekend, and I'm very passionate about bringing awareness to women and allowing them to find a way to access their tools and their medicine and their gifts. So I've just been really inspired, and also been truly inspired by you, Rosie, you've been sharing all of this beautiful medicine with the women of your community, and even further. So that to me was one of my biggest inspiration, and I just felt that in my core, it just felt right, and I knew that if I didn't do it, if I didn't sign up for it, that I was going to miss out on an opportunity. And like last year, I didn't sign up, and I kicked myself in the butt, because I'm like, you should have done this. You should just go outside of your comfort zone, and that's what I've been focusing on a lot since I've turned 30. It was really going outside of my comfort zone and trying new things. So for me, that is something that kind of like nudged me to do this. So.
Well, I'm really grateful that you were able to step forward, and that's one of the things is that I put out because it takes a lot of planning to be able to get the conference going, and I know that people are like, really, you're talking about that? Like, that's next year. No, I don't know what I'm doing next year. I have to wait. And so I put out the applications for the women for the speakers, and I put the applications out for the vendors like really early on. And so like now that we're kind of like just moving into that last little bit, like we've only got 6 weeks left
I
to
know,
be able to
it's
kind
crazy.
of get prepared. And I know that the conference is longer than that, but in terms of the preparation, we only have 6 weeks left. We have to get the t-shirts ordered. We have to get like all the banners going for the sponsors and the vendors. And so like we've got lots of behind the scenes stuff that still needs to be done. We need to notify the caterer as to like what kind of meal plans that need to be done because of people's dietary needs. And so like we've got all these things that need to happen. And so I am getting still messages from people saying, oh, I'd love to be able to. I didn't think that I was going to be able to, but now I'm going to be able to. And I'd love to be able to be a speaker. I want to be able to join being a vendor. And so for those of you who are like wanting to be able to take this step that Emily is taking, or wanting to be able to come and join us as a vendor, is watch for the links much earlier, because the applications really do start early. Like it really does. And because we have, like I said, we have all these things in the background. And so one of the things, oh, hey, Dave. So my brother-in-law is on. And so one of the things that is that I think that is really important for me to be able to mention, and I'm going to mention it each and every time that I actually jump on live, because I think that it's important, is that the cost is high. It is not it's not a, okay, well, I'm going to do this for $100. It's an entire weekend. You have your meals covered. There are a lot of draws. There are a lot of different things that are going on. And so one of the things that, and I can't put it in, and I have to try and figure that out for next year, but I can't put it in the, as part of the regular registrations, is that I will also do a payment plan. So if a big chunk of money all at once is too much, then please message me, because if this is something that you want to be part of and that you want to be able to do, I don't want that to be somebody saying like, you know what, like I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my mortgage in big chunks, and to have to do the conference in a big chunk is not something that I can manage. Then message me and we will set up a payment plan, because I don't want that to be a hindrance for people.
No,
and so
for sure.
So I want to make sure that that is said, and I will say that again when I jump on live with Michelle, and each and every time that I do, because I don't want anybody to say like, I can't do this because I can't afford, because right now we have the early bird, which is 25% off. And so like if you register now, even with a payment plan, that you still get to keep the 25%. So please reach out to me if that is something that you want to be able to do, so that you're not missing out based on, I can't afford to do the full amount right in one chunk. So but just know that our registrations close on February 14th. And we have to, because we have to send all the sizes, we have to send there's a lot of things from a background end that we really need to make sure to do. And so like the full registrations will close February 14th, but the early bird is closing on January 14th, which is in 4 days. So reach out if that is something that you actually need to be able to do. So really important for that. So
thank you for sharing that.
Well, and like I said, I know that for me to be able to go to a conference, like to have to fork out that big, huge chunk, it's a lot of money, and I know that.
Definitely.
And I know that is, and especially when we're women, a lot of us are moms, or that that we're still working paycheck to paycheck. There's a lot of different things. Not everybody has that luxury of being able to have that money at our disposal, and so so I just wanted to make sure that I reached out to and let people know that that is definitely something that we can make arrangements for.
Definitely.
So,
and if I can add to that, I think that if you really, really, truly feel like you are called to be there, manifest it, because I've been in that situation where I wanted to attend something, but at the moment, my financially, I could not do it. And so I manifested it, and I dreamt about it every day, and I saw myself there, and I imagined the funds coming to me. And then like something that came up, like you offered a payment plan, and that's something that was offered to me, and it was like I felt a sense of relief, and that I was also able to attend, so it was meant for everyone and not just for a specific person with an X amount of income. So I just want to say, if you truly, truly, truly desire to be there, you can make it happen. You have all the tools inside of you. You are a manifestation vessel, and reach out, speak to anybody, desire help, ask for help, speak with Roly. She's definitely a great tool for you to reach out to and for support. So, you are heard, you are seen, and so that's all.
so the weekend is March 6th to the 8th of, and one of the things that Emily had pointed out is that it's International Women's Day on March 8th. And I know that some of the people, and especially the ones that have children, go, oh, but that falls like on a March, like that's the weekend of March break. Like March break starts that weekend. And I know, and I get it, but unfortunately, I didn't choose when International Women's Day is. And that part of the conference is really important to me, because so there's a lot of events that actually happen during International Women's Day that are geared to professionals and geared to working women. But this weekend isn't just for working women. It is not just for people that are professional. This weekend is for all women. And so so that's one of the things, because we're celebrating being women, and we're celebrating the choice of whether we are working women or not working women, depending on what's going on in our lives. And so like that part there is like really important for me to stress, is that yes, it's an International Women's Day and approved by International Women's Day as one of the recognized events of International Women's Day for the 3rd year running. And I shared this in Sherry's video as well, is that we have been approved, our event has been approved for the last 3 years of, and we are listed on the International Women's Day events. And so you actually, if you search Ontario, we're listed as one of the recognized events. And so that's exciting.
Awesome,
and
for sure.
And especially for our little northern communities, right? So like for those of us who are from Northeastern Ontario, it is in our small communities. I know that Timmins is a little bigger community than our community, but it's still a small community in the sense of communities. But like we are, we're small Northeastern Ontario women that are coming together. And of course we have some southern women that are coming in, and we have some Eastern Quebec women that are coming in. So like not to take away from where any of the women are coming from, but like we have, but the fact that we have this in our very small community is exciting. And
absolutely.
Come together and join together between the South and the North, where those of us who are from the North don't have to actually travel down to the South. Like this is exciting. This is extremely exciting. Sure. And so it's but yeah, so I'm not sure that there's anything else that I can think of that I want to be able to share. What about you, Emily?
I feel complete. Thank you so much for taking this time and creating these live interviews so that everyone can get to know each other and see what kind of energy we're going to be sharing in this beautiful event. And I truly desire that if you're watching, or if you're going to be watching the replay, that you get to attend, if not this year, maybe next year. But if you really want to make it this year, it'll be a breathtaking weekend, I can just imagine. So I would be delightful to have everyone, and if from far, near, wherever you are, to join us. So thank you very much for that.
Okay, well, and I want to thank all of you for joining us either live or on the replay. And I think that my brother-in-law is the only one who's on live. So thanks, Dave, for hanging out. And but for all of you who are catching the replay, #replay, and let us know that you are on. And we'd love to be able to have a conversation. So if you have any more questions, or if you just want to be able to join in the discussion about how this resonates for you, we'd love to hear from you. So I want to talk to you guys all later, and see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you, Roly.
So there's always a delay, and I know that we are still on live, but the screen has not yet popped up for me to be able to actually shut it down. So we end up doing this like little pause as it's actually